Are you wanting to create more of an exciting or dream life? Well, today I'm going to share some tips that have really helped me move through my life and make it more exciting. Welcome back to today's episode, and thank you so much for being here today. So, for me, I always used to live in that place of one day when I get X, Y, Z, I will be happy. I remember being in my job many years ago, and I was in a project management environment, as I still am, and I was miserable in the function I was in, and it wasn't a great experience. And I remember going and looking at libraries and bookshops and all sorts at lunchtime and thinking about being an author. And I was thinking, one day when I'm a successful author who lives for himself, then I'll be truly happy and have an amazing life. Now, you can probably see a problem with that. That is the fact that I'm waiting on an outcome to feel good. I can remember used to live in a place of when I meet the right girl, then I'll be happy. And then maybe if I go on a date or two and it's good with someone, it was this is going great. But having that gap to feel good was definitely a bit of a problem. So what I came to realize is create the dream life as much as possible now. Live in a life that I enjoy now as much as possible. Now, of course, there's going to be challenges and gaps, right? But I really want to share some tips today because I know a lot of people are not necessarily fulfilled or happy with where they are currently. And for me, I'm always learning, I'm always growing. So I just thought I'd share what has worked for me for making more of an enjoyable life and moving forward. So maybe you're in that place and you're just not liking life and you want to move forward and you're like, right, how do I create a more enjoyable life, or how do I create more of a dream life for me? Well, I want to go through some tips for you today. So here's the first one. Number one, write down what your ideal vision would be. What would be your ideal day? Getting very clear on that. Like maybe you're a multi-millionaire and you're traveling with your family or your partner, because that's kind of what my image is. And then you're really serving the world with something that lights you up, and you don't have to know what that is necessarily, but maybe that's your dream life, right? So you got that down and write it down. And then what I like to do is match it as much as possible. So if I'm out there being creative and serving people, then I'm sure as anything going to make sure I put as much of that into my day as possible. If in the dream I'm going for, which I am, because I'm talking to my own dream vision, I'm going for a morning walk with my coffee, having a think, enjoying some personal growth podcasts, then that's what I make sure I put in my day as well. So that's what I do right now. Now, I haven't got the partner, but I sure as anything make sure I work on the qualities I want to be, right? So it's not that I've got the ideal dream life 100% now, but what I do is I take elements that I can control, that I can do now, and I live it as much as possible. So that's my first tip for you. Number two, acknowledge and accept the fact, and I think this is where a lot of mismessaging is in the personal growth space, is you will not be happy all of the time. You will not be happy all of the time, right? It's not say, be miserable all the time, be sad, be anxious, be angry. Anger is a particular one I've had to deal with for many, many years and had lots of support with. But yeah, it's you want to be obviously joyful, excited, and those positive, grateful, all those positive emotions more often than not, 100%, yeah. But if you expect to be happy 100% of the time, that's not going to happen. I used to think a dream life would be I'd be 100% happy all the time. But when you can accept and be with your emotions more often and feel into them, that's when I found I've experienced more joy than more sadness. Number three, don't place your happiness and joy, linked to the previous point, on an outcome. If you expect a certain outcome to feel happy, then you're always going to be chasing outcomes. Right? Have goals, have outcomes, have your dream, of course, but don't attach feeling good to getting a certain outcome, because you'll be just chasing white rabbits. This is a great analogy I've heard many times. If you're chasing your happiness to an outcome, it's like being greyhound dogs who are chasing the white rabbit around the track. You're always going to be chasing in order to feel good. So know what you want to do, but feel good in the process of doing it. Number 4, stay in your heart as much as possible and everything will transform. What I mean by this is we're taught like, this is what you want, this is what you should do, this is your career path, this is your business. You see people with jets on Instagram. Oh, okay, they're like an investor or whatever. I got to be an investor. All these kind of things, right? No, listen to your heart, because your heart is your best guide, right? Take people's guidance if it's down the path you want to go to, of course, right? Role modeling is a really successful thing, 100%. And I like to do it. Like if I want to go in a certain way and my heart tells me it and then someone else doing it, I want to learn from that person as much as possible. But don't get sucked into the mind of like, this is what you should do by society, by other people. Live in your heart as much as possible. And then my final point is be creative and expressive as much as possible. Be creative and expressive as much as you can. I find when I share my blogs, when I create my podcasts, when I do my writing, I'm writing my current book, that's when I've really started to create more of a dream life, because it allows me to connect to me a lot more. And for me, that's me being me. It's not me waiting for a certain outcome. I'm just expressing who I am. So really expressing yourself. Maybe you don't put videos on YouTube like I do. Maybe you don't put podcasts out like I do. Maybe you don't write books like I do. But how can you express yourself more? Because that's going to create more of a connection with yourself. Maybe you journal yourself. Maybe you even just speak to yourself. I speak to myself all the time. And just expressing yourself even more. So those are my points for you today in terms of how to create more of a dream life right now. It's always a work in progress. There are definitely things I still want in life, and that's good. That's fine. But I don't place my happiness and outcome on them, right? So here are the tips I want to go through with you again. Number 1, have that ideal vision and match it as close as possible as now. That does not mean if you want to be a millionaire that you go out and buy a jumbo jet that you can't afford. No, we're not saying that. But if you're like every day in your vision, you're going for a walk with your coffee, you're talking to people you love, make sure you can do that in your day now. The second thing, acknowledge you won't be happy all the time. That's unrealistic, right? But be of your emotions and aim to be feeling good more often than not. Number 3, don't put happiness on an outcome. Number 4, stay in your heart as much as possible. Let it guide you. Breathe into it every single day. Number 5, be creative and expressive as much as possible. So that's what I got for you today. I appreciate you for being here. And remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.